We are the restaurant brokers, and we sell restaurants.
We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm over a decade ago.
Atlanta, Georgia was our starting point, but our brand is spreading nationwide. We define restaurant brokerage and help buyers just like these.
Our dream, our goal, open up a restaurant, loving life, serving people breakfast and lunch, and then enjoying the rest of the day with them and ourselves.
Buying an existing restaurant, leasing a closed restaurant space, or purchasing a restaurant franchise. We help buyers satisfy their appetite for acquisition.
I'm part of a husband and wife team with this fella.
Working with my wife has been a lot of fun. The ultimate goal for everybody here is to make this work. And because we have different strengths, we bring different angles to the deal.
The process begins with our powerhouse website, WeSellRestaurants.com, where buyers sign online confidentiality agreements and browse restaurants for sale.
Then we send buyers undercover to check out a restaurant and decide if it's the right one for them.
Buyers get our proprietary business analysis tool with all the financial details on the business for sale.
After studying the restaurant inside and out, it's back to our office.
We're deal makers. We write contracts and negotiate terms for buyers and sellers. That's why we sell more restaurants than any other firm in the nation. We are the restaurant brokers. Our name says it all. You're back on the air with the restaurant brokers Eric and Robin Gagnon. We Sell Restaurants is the industry leader in restaurants for sale, franchise restaurant resales, and site location for the food service industry. Our firm is currently operating in Florida, Colorado, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia, and have franchise opportunities available nationwide. Today, we're talking about burgers. Eric, kick off our second segment. What's your question?
Absolutely. We're going around the world of burgers in 60 minutes here. This is phenomenal. We're having a great time with our guest. And let's talk about a little bit about this difference. You know, we hear all kinds of, grass-fed, grain-fed, and all kinds of different types of beef. So why don't you give us a little crash course here? I know we can talk about that for hours, but let's do a crash course on that a little bit. And, John, you want to get us started on that?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting discussion. I think that you get what people are thinking of from flavor profile is the reason why they choose one or the other, and another reason is where you're sourcing your beef from and making sure that it's humanely raised, free of antibiotics, and what people are really willing to pay for what they care to eat. And for us as a smaller chain, it's tough to go the grass fed route, even though I think that there certainly is a place for it in the market, and I appreciate it myself. But it's interesting that what the restaurants where it's successful currently, I think it's going to be the grass-fed beef is more of a high-end thing, but I think we'll see some decrease in prices on that just for the sake of there's a lot of demand out there for it. I know there's a couple of local producers here that started out really small, and about 5 years ago when they got started, they were prohibitively expensive from even sampling it, and now we're actually thinking about throwing it on our menu for a potential Burger of the Month scenario where we've got a little bit of a flexibility on our pricing there, and if the customers want to try it, they certainly can. Okay, Rev, what do you think?
I'm going to start this with a little trivia question for everybody on the show today.
Okay.
What is the percentage of cattle in America that are grass-fed? Anybody want to take a guess?
Oh, I'm not taking that one. No way. You got to tell us.
I'd say 2%.
It depends on how you define it. We're literally 100%.
Ah.
Amen.
I mean,
completely correct. 100% of the cattle that we consume in this country are fed on grass. They are all grass-fed. However, the ones that taste really good finish on grain.
Okay.
If you are eating a hamburger, you're eating it because it tastes delicious. You're going for a flavor profile. I mean, that's what the whole certified Angus beef program is built on, is tasting a better burger. And there's nothing wrong with feeding grain to a cow. It eats it, it likes it, and then when you're going to eat it, it will taste better. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with grass-fed. I think there's a perfectly fine need for that. But I think that people have this perceived value around grass-fed that may not be built on real facts or what it's really, really about. Is it better for you? It's probably arguable. Does it taste better? That's up to your opinion. I would tell you, no, I think grain-fed tastes better. It's also better. It's a better life cycle for the cow. It's a little shorter for the ranchers. And in terms of an industry, which we're talking about here, it's better to have the cattle fed on grain at the end of their lives.
Okay, last guy to weigh in on this topic. George, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a very difficult question right now because as grass-fed becomes more of a name and a highly sought-after product, I think there's a lot of misinformation. And my quick example is people used to drink jug red wine, and then all of a sudden these varietals came out, and everyone wanted a Cabernet. Well, there's good Cabernet and there's bad Cabernet, and there's a reason there's some Cabernet that's $8 a bottle and some that's $100 a bottle. And you can have grass-fed beef a burger that's made from the last 5% of your animal and all from trim, and it's not going to be as good as a grass-fed burger that's made from better primal cuts and a better blend, and even a better blend of fat content. So it's hard to just say, oh, I've had a grass-fed burger and it's really dry and bad taste profiles and I didn't like it. And you could have another grass-fed burger and it could be lush and dark and juicy and just be full of complex flavor. So I think that the education is going to be key going forward as it becomes much more of a place in the market.
So let me ask. Go ahead. No, jump in there.
I would say I want to have a burger party with you. I think you're totally on the money.
I want to ask the two of you that are heading up your own chains to tell us a little bit about the demographic of that more upscale burger eater as compared to like the fast food client we were talking about. George, who is your customer and what are they? How old are they and what are they like demographically?
So I think the thing I really love about being in my business right now and having come from more of a fine dining angle early in my career is the first thing I realized when we opened the Farm Burger is that our demographic is really like 5 years old to 95 years old. And it's really this, as I looked out into our small dining rooms, it's people of all ages, race, creed, colors, you name it, different places in society. It's just like one thing everybody can agree upon is a great burger. And it's fun that way. I really like the mix and the diversity of our clientele.
Okay, so burgers promote world peace then. That's what I'm hearing, John. What do you think?
Yeah, no,
maybe
exactly.
Not in India.
We've got the same situation going on at our stores. We've got one of ours that's the most neighborhood-centric, and I was there this past Sunday night, and it was everything from, two old seniors kind of out on a little date night that live in an apartment complex right next to us that were probably no less than 80 years old. And then there was a ton of families with younger kids running around, and it was almost like a daycare inside of it. But everybody was happy. Everybody was ordering burgers. And I think that the core of it is that it's just the classic American meal. I mean, a burger and fries is something that if you serve those at a party, there's very few people that would ever be upset about that. And if those people are at the party, I would ask them to leave, honestly.
Wow. And Rev, what is your thought on this? What do you see out there?
I don't really have anything better to add than that. Same page. I think burgers are for everybody. I mean, I always say that to me, I eat a burger because it reminds me of friends and family and good times. So,
John, congratulations. You put a marketing guy out of words. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
This was, remind us quickly, each one of you, where we can find your concept online. George, go first, please.
Well, pretty simply, we're at farmburger.com, and it's got all the background on our restaurants and locations and our history.
Okay, John, and what about you?
We are myburgerusa.com, and then on Twitter it's at myburgerusa as well as Instagram.
Okay, and Rev, I know you're a social media expert, so we will follow up and be tweeting on everybody's concepts when we air this show. Well, I thank everybody for their time this morning. We have been talking about that great American classic, the burger. You want to listen to this show and others, join us online at WeSellRestaurants.com. Remember, take a minute, like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/WeSellRestaurants. We're on Twitter at SellRestaurants. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.